Texas Congressman Mike McCaul, chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, was in that meeting. Sir, how are you? And
doing fine.
Welcome back here. How many meetings have you been in with the president?
Several, but none quite like this one. I mean, you had live television cameras for almost an hour covering very sensitive inside negotiations, and it really kind of peeled the curtain back for the American people to see what it's really like in Washington. I thought it was an extraordinary move by the president, leadership on his part, and I really thought he was at his best yesterday. It was
okay. So was the content of the meeting different, or was it just the fact that the TV cameras were still there?
Well, everybody knows the camera's there, but I don't think it really changed people's thoughts and opinions at the meeting itself. I mean, I certainly raised my perspective. I think everybody else did. I think the good thing is that we came to an agreement on 4 pillars that had to be achieved in the short term before this DACA expiration in March. Border security, which would be the bill I passed out of my committee, to not only build the wall, but bring technology, personnel, boots on the ground, and get this thing done. Once we have a real opportunity to get this done. I've been in for 7 terms. We've never been able to secure that border. So I am personally excited about that option. I think the chain migration, we've heard a lot about that issue. The visa lottery program, which is a random system, not merit-based, but totally random, I think needs to go. And Bill, you're in New York. You know, we had 2 terror attacks in New York that were really the product of these 2 failed immigration policies, that being chain migration and visa lottery. And that was a Halloween vehicle attack and then the suicide bomber in December. I think that, to protect the American people, needs to go. And then finally, the 4th pillar is we have to work out this DACA fix and codify it into law, because only Congress can do that. The Supreme Court held that the executive branch cannot.
Okay, so I was writing down as I was going, and I think in the end, they divided those in 2, right? A phase 1 and a phase 2. And phase 1 would be you fix DACA and you get your border security, at least the money for it, then you move from there. And phase 2 would have to deal with the immigration system, and that's chain migration, the lottery. Is that the way it is defined by the commander-in-chief as well as you?
Well, no, I think the consensus out of that meeting was the 4 pillars need to be addressed in the short term. I think this is our opportunity. If we're going to do DACA, the conservatives need to get what we need, and that's the security piece and the interior enforcement. And so that's what we're going to be working on. Chairman Goodlatte and I are introducing this morning a bill that will address these 4 pillars, and I think it's going to be sort of the landmark, you know, staking in the ground. The beginning of the negotiations will start with this bill.
Okay, now it's a lot.
It's a lot to cover.
Can you get it
complicated? Look, anytime you touch immigration and you try to deal with border and immigration, it's a very, very difficult deal. But the difference is this: unlike President Obama, we have a commander-in-chief who is all in, who made that clear yesterday that he is all behind these efforts. He wants it to be bipartisan, bicameral. We're going to introduce a probably more conservative Republican bill, but the difference today is the political will in the White House to get this thing done, and therefore I am optimistic.
Just one more question on this meeting. You're saying the television cameras had no effect on how you behaved or what you said, or how others reacted or what they said? And just to put a fine point on it, is this the way the president conducts every meeting he has?
No, he doesn't. Usually the cameras come in for about 5 minutes, and then they leave, and then there's a candid discussion. I was quite surprised the cameras stayed there for an hour.
No, I get that, but yeah, the way he conducts the meeting, is it the same with or without a camera?
Oh, I think so. I think what you saw yesterday is the real deal. That's the real Donald Trump. And I think the more the American people see the real Donald Trump like he was yesterday, the more they're going to like
it. I got it. Okay, fascinating stuff. Thank you for coming back, sir, very much, and we'll follow it as we move forward, all right? We'll watch your bill today. Michael McCaul from Texas, there on the Hill. Thanks.